Hi everyone, my name is Brianna. This speech is going to be an informative speech regarding food insecurity as a global issue. So let's talk food insecurity. Who has ever experienced food insecurity at some point in their life? And by this, I mean, have you ever struggled to find food or to be able to have money to get a substantial amount of food for your family or for yourself? Well, I have, and it's definitely a very difficult situation to be in. So, going into this speech, I will be talking about how severe food insecurity can be as a global issue and how it impacts many different countries and what we could do as a whole to try to help the situation in any way, shape, or form. So, according to FAO.org, compared to 2019, 46 million more people in Africa, almost 57 million more in Asia, and about 14 million more in Latin America and Caribbean were affected by hunger in 2020. This goes to show just how bad food insecurity and hunger truly is as a global issue and how much of an issue this is widespread. Food insecurity is on the rise right now. The US is not the only country that struggles with this. According to the UN's National Hunger Report, hunger is the term used to define periods when populations are experiencing food insecurity severely, meaning that they go months, weeks, even entire days without eating due to lack of money and lack of resources. Imagine going days without food, or weeks without food, or even, God forbid, months without food. Some countries have had to do this, and it's so sad to think about people having to go through something so difficult like that when food and water is the basic necessity to life. So imagine not being able to get access to that or to be able to afford it is just so heartbreaking to think about. According to Action Against Hunger Security Policy, from 2019 to 2020, the number of undernourished people grew by as many as 161 million, a crisis driven by largely conflict, climate change, and the COVID-19 pandemic. The sustainability goal was to end hunger by 2030. The chances of that happening are very low now. There is a very big financial crisis due to COVID-19 pandemic. This has left many people struggling to provide adequate meals. According to ActionAid USA, after a prolonged decline, the number of people struggling and suffering from hunger and malnutrition in 2017 has reached an estimate of 821 million. Did you know that according to Statista.com, there are approximately 516.5 million malnourished individuals living in Asia and Pacific region, and about 239 million malnourished living in sub-Saharan Africa. Globally, there are 821.6 million people that are considered undernourished or starving. Not many people are aware of how severe this is and how much of a major global issue this can be. I myself wasn't even aware of how much food insecurity truly is an issue until I had taken up a class of civic engagement and started volunteering to help with food insecurity locally. It's so insane to think of how crazy this world can be. To struggle to be able to find food, to afford food is so sad to think of. Did you know that according to FAO.org, globally, about 8.9 of the world's population, 690 people, 690 million people, go to bed on an empty stomach each night? According to World Health Organization, over more than 2.3 billion people or 30% of the world's global population lacked year-round access to adequate food. I don't know about all of you, but hearing these statistics makes me feel so bad for these people. Lots of us have had to go through times like this, but imagine the children that have to suffer through this. Most importantly, children that are still getting the basic development that they need. You have to have the nutrients to be able to get that development at such a fragile time in their life. According to FAO of UN, nearly 98% of worldwide hunger exists in underdeveloped countries. It's so sad to think about other countries going without meals. Sometimes we do not realize how bad other countries have it in comparison to ours. I have never been to another country. So imagining having to struggle this long year round without adequate access to food is just so sad to think of. According to UNICEF in 2010, an estimated 7.6 million children, more than 20,000 a day, died. Poor nutrition leads to half of these deaths. The fact is, the amount of children that have poor nutrition is so high. There's only so much each of us can do with the resources we do have. According to the FAO of UN, while hunger exists worldwide, 526 million hungry people live in Asia. This shows us that the world hunger is not only an issue, but it impacts some countries way more than others. To wrap this up, my goal of this speech was to teach and hopefully inform all of you how much of a global issue food insecurity truly is and how it really can impact the world as a whole. And just to be aware of all of the statistics and know that there are different things you can do, such as volunteering locally, going to food banks, and dropping off food to help where you can. There's always things you can do. And that is my speech. Thank you all for listening and have a good day.